Okay, I do want to go over example 5 with you. Even though I had you do it on enVision, sometimes I think if I explain it, it makes a little bit more sense. So we are starting with the vertex form of a quadratic, so f of x equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. They told us that the vertex was 1611, and they told us that the starting point of the soccer ball was 1.2. So it might have seemed like that point just came out of thin air. It did. They just told us that point. So in this case, we don't know what our a value is. But we know the h and the k, and we know an x and a y value. So we can plug all 4 of those numbers into our vertex formula and solve it to determine what our a value is. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to plug in 1.2 for my y. I'm going to leave my a, my variable, because I don't know what that is yet. And then I'm going to plug in my x, which is 2, my h, which is 16, and my k, which is 11. And I'm going to simplify it. So when I do order of operations, I start with simplifying inside the parentheses. 2 minus 16 is negative 14. Negative 14 squared is 196. And they showed it where they flip-flopped the 196 and the a because that's how we're used to seeing it. And then I just solve this two-step equation. So I can draw the line, minus 11 on both sides, and I end up with negative 9.8 equals 196a, divide by 196, and I get a equals negative 0.05. So now I have this function negative 0.05 times x minus 16 squared plus 11. And they say, well, can I determine the height of the ball? Why? If I know that the goalie is standing at 22 feet. So the position of the goalie is x. So I plug in 22. So f of 22 equals negative 0.05 times 22 minus 16 plus 11. So again, 22 minus 16 is 6. Square that, which is 36. Then I multiply that by 0.05 to get negative 1.8. Add that to 11, and I get that at that point, the ball is 9.2 feet. And the problem told us that when he stands with his hands reached above his head, he is 8 feet tall. So this is above his 8-foot reach. Now let's say he was not standing 3 feet in front of the goal. Perhaps he was standing at the goal at 25 feet. So if we plug in 25 feet, we can see if he was standing there, would he block the soccer ball? So I'm going to plug in 25 instead of 22. When I do that, I get 9 squared which is 81. Oops. Negative 5/100 times 81 is negative 4.05. When I add 11, I get 6.95 feet. So the ball is at 6.95 feet, which is below his 8-foot reach, and so he can block that goal.